My G's. You know when you've got... Hang on a minute. Don't worry, it's alcohol free. My G's. You know when you've got a cool track with a nice bass, but you're not sure where to take it next. You feel like it's missing something. You don't know what is missing yet. You know when you've got that feeling? Well, I got you. I got you, my G's. I got you. All right. In this little demo, I'm going to show you how you can turn your bass line into another new layer, sort of like an ARP, a bit of a higher register, and a nice rhythmical bonus for your track. Let's get into it. So here I've got like a dark minimal kind of beat, and I'm going to play you. I'll play you quickly without this bonus layer, and we'll just listen sort of as it is from now. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Logic. All right, but now let's listen with my layer added in, okay? It's so dope, and it's something that you could, for example, you could leave out for the first part and then bring in later, you know? That's something that would be a nice change in energy as well, you know? So let's talk about this layer. I took my bass line. It's just a really simple bass line I made in Vital. Nice and pulsating. I wanted to take that and create a new layer, almost like an ARP, almost like a lead kind of thing, to sit on top of it all. And I created this out of it, you know? And it sits really nicely in my groove as well. So we've got to talk about the timing a bit, okay? So let me run through what I did to create this sound and why it works. So basically I started with obviously the exact same bass. It's just, you know, now I've got it on 2 channels. So the bottom one here is going to be our new layer that we're going to create. So the first thing to do was to pitch it up. I've pitched it up a whole octave. So let's just play the one we're working on here. Now the reason I pitched it up is because I wanted to move everything up higher in the frequency spectrum and change the register of everything. And then because it's a layer that's going to fit on top of the bass, it should be sort of higher up. You don't have to go a whole octave higher, but also changing the pitch helps to make the harmonics different to the original. That's very important. What I've also done is I've used a pitch shifter, because it can, if you were to pitch it in a sampler, you might get a higher quality result. But with a pitch shifter, you get some artifacts sometimes. The sound quality changes a bit. And that's okay, because I'm kind of intentionally trying to change the harmonics of the sound. So with the grain size on the pitch shifter from kilohertz, for example, you could almost sort of change the tonality in that as well, you know. I left it around there, pitched it up a whole octave, and obviously together it still doesn't sound that great yet. So I'm doing loads more to it. I'm doing loads more processing. So next I'm doing some adding in some noise. And this basically, it's on pretty damn high. Noising it all out a lot, using the bandpass noise from kilohertz. I love that plugin. Then I'm distorting it all with Ruiner, free distortion plugin, one of my favorites. Okay, it's a fairly subtle one, but it does add some extra harmonics again. Now I'm using the LFO tool to create the rhythm, okay? So this is where the main rhythm comes from now. And I actually started doing it on the beat like this, a sort of ramp down directly on the beat, 1/8. Which is cool, but when I then changed it to have this sort of attack and this kind of curved saw down, and it sort of all starts later, you know. It's like now it's got this lazy late feeling because the actual sort of peak of the sound is actually later than, you know, if it was on the, you know, directly on the beat with the eighth notes. So that's really cool because it kind of gives you a new rhythm in the groove, like a new kind of offbeat vibe going on, you know? So next, this is super important as well, is to filter the whole thing. And this is really where the tone is really kind of perfected, you know, because I've really exaggerated certain areas of the frequency spectrum through using the Filter Freak, and I've just used a preset on the Filter Freak 2, which is great. On the, I think it's actually, yeah, it's on the drums, is it? Is it on the drums? Wow. Yeah, it's on the drum folder called Vocal Crossing. And basically it just has these two peaks that, yeah, sort of cross with each other. They have a bit of a vocal effect because the resonances in the mid-range are really sort of boosted up quite a lot. And so, yeah, as you hear, especially when you hear it in the beat, if I turn it off and then on, it sits in a much better position, sort of tonally, like the timbre kind of helps, you know, the change in the timbre which the filter provided helps it fit in the mix in a different kind of way, you know? So, yeah, we've processed it a lot already, but a few more things to do. These are now more subtle things. That's the sort of main part of the processing done to create the sound. But now we add a bit of extra reverb, sort of convolution reverb, nice and short, white blur, 50 milliseconds, just to sort of spread the sound out a bit. A touch of compression just to control the level a little bit. It's very, very subtle. You could probably take it or leave it, that one. It's just a sort of mixing tweak. Another bit of white noise. Same as before, but just a lot less. But it helps to sort of salt and pepper the high end a little bit more on the sound, so it cuts through the mix a bit more, you know? Then I'm just taking out some low end so it doesn't interfere so much with the bass. A couple of rounds of EQing, nice and smooth, 300 and 220, and then a final EQ, a little low shelf and a little high shelf, just to sort of rebalance things to give a bit more priority to the high end of the sound. And then together with the layer, it's wonderful. And yeah, I really kind of like this idea of having it come in later as a kind of progressive element, you know? So I've used this similar sort of technique in a lot of my previous productions, you know, other tracks of mine like Grey or Helpless or other tunes that have been spun out on BBC Radio. And yeah, it's the kind of thing I often do in my projects, like sort of creating new rhythmical layers with different harmonics and textures out of pre-existing elements in my track, you know? And that's just one way that you can go about doing it. Every time you do it, you're going to get a different result. But the key things to really focus in on are changing the harmonics so that the harmonics are different and it adds a new, it opens up a new dimension in the track, like sort of sonically. And secondly as well, trying to really get a nice rhythmical improvement actually, because this sort of, the way I sort of made it all a bit late, that actually added to the whole vibe of the track, you know, and gave like not only a timbre shift, but also a rhythmic shift as well. So that's really two birds with one stone there. So I hope you guys learned a bit from this video today. Leave a comment down below if you thought it was useful. Thank you very much for watching. May I remind you as well, before you leave, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to my Patreon. We've got a great Discord community over there as well with group events, and there's loads of free downloads on the Patreon platform. If you'd like to support me by grabbing preset packs as well, that's obviously more actually less about supporting me and more about you acquiring great sounds for yourself to use. But what I'm trying to say is it does help me out a lot. And if you get some presets on my website, you won't be let down. The sound quality is excellent on Vital presets, Serum presets, Phase Plant, and Current. Finally, I also have production sessions available. Book in via the links down below. Send me an email if you want more information, or if you want me to mix and master any work for you, you can also email me. Thank you very much. That's it from me today. More from me very soon. Ciao for now. Much love.